If you could have the most reliable, safest, easiest to install, most powerful battery system for your van or RV, what would that look like and where would you get it? Hello party people, I am Will Pemble, and today I just got a delivery from the nice folks at Lithionics. What's in the box, you ask? 630 amp hours of lithium battery, that's what's in the box, and a bunch of other stuff. We're gonna take all of that out of the box, put it here on the workbench, look at it, figure out what goes with what, and then we're gonna talk about how to get it off the workbench and into the van. Shall we get started? I would put this box on the table, but it's too big. I can't. First, let's get all the bits and pieces up on the table, or as many of them as we can, and we'll see where we end up. Do not stack. We're very particular about our toys. We don't want anybody putting stuff on top of them. We're gonna start with our Xantrex 3000 watt inverter charger. So this is not a trivial piece of gear. Look at that, beautiful. We are just getting started. Oh look, whenever someone sends you a gift, you should always read the card first. Dear Will, please find enclosed one UL listed 12.8 volt 630 amp hour lithium ion phosphate battery module, includes Anderson DIN connector, temperature intervention sensor, 4/0 marine cable, out of case end, length 24 inches, and then some other technical things about the plugs at the end of the wire. One NDV8-12-ADVBT external 12 volt 400 amp rated plug and play never die battery management system. That's the BMS. Lithionics makes a very sexy BMS. You'll see in a minute. Round state of charge display, corporate mating amp seal 23 connector, BMS remote reset switch, momentary 19mm 12 volt LED, illuminated with cable assembly 15 feet. Xantrex Freedom XC Pro 3000 12 volt inverter charger, Xantrex Freedom X remote Bluetooth panel, Victron Smart Solar MPPT 100/30. That's our solar charge controller. That's all what's in here. Let's bust it out. So here's the card. Dear Will, we sent you these wonderful things. Whenever you open a box, make sure the blade doesn't stick out too far. You don't want to break anything. Look, it's like surprises. Woohoo! Nice. Nice. Here's our Xantrex Bluetooth panel. Here's our charge controller, 30 amp charge controller. More wires and bits and pieces, we'll figure those out in a second. Oh, what do you suppose that is? That's the beautiful. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's go see what's in the other side of the box. Get over here. Look at that. That is the awesome battery management system. Absolutely incredible. All right, so we'll put that right there. So what's left in here is our giant battery. And I honestly don't know if I'm strong enough to lift this battery. Let's give it a whirl here. You may have to take my word for the battery. It's really big. I don't think I can lift it. Woo! It's really heavy. heavy. But we got it. We got it up here. And look, the coolest part so far is a little heartbeat. All right, let me rearrange real quick and we'll talk about what each piece does. Now there's one piece missing. Hang on. Oh. Okay. Oh. Ow. The piece that's missing would be 4 of these 100-watt flexible solar panels. And we're gonna mount these very, very flush, very close so that we're not building a whole bunch of wind resistance and wind noise. Wind resistance in a van isn't really that big a deal because let's face it, the thing is a great big box. There is very little aerodynamic efficiency in any kind of van, until Tesla builds a van, I suppose. But anyway, what we want to do is we want to keep the wind noise as low as possible. So if you buy a rigid solar panel, you end up with about 1 inch of flat surface banging into the wind. I think what I'd like to do here is I'd like to build the solar panels as close to the roof as possible, as flush as possible, so that the air moves over them as easily as possible. Again, not so much to save fuel, although it will save minimum amounts of fuel. Mostly the reason we want to get the solar panels flush is because of wind noise. We want it to be as quiet as possible. We do really, really hard work to make sure that the cabin is super, super quiet. We want it to be Mercedes quiet. So these are the bits and pieces. This big battery is where the product, the fruits of our labor, gets stored, right? All of our power and energy gets stored in this battery. Where do we get power for the battery? Well, there's a high output alternator, which I'm not going to put on the table right now, but there's a high output alternator that we attach to the engine of the van. The alternator, whenever you drive the van, charges the battery through the battery management system. There are solar panels on the roof that charge the battery. And so those are the 2 places. And then the 3rd place, we can plug into shore power. We can just plug the van in someplace, and then wherever we plug in, it will also recharge the battery. And then power comes out of the battery through the inverter charger, and that's where we get 120 volts or 115 volts to run things like water heaters and cooktops and lights and radios and computers and whatever other things that we want to power. We can also get 12 volts of power out of this, really anywhere from 12 volts on up. We can get whatever power we need out of the battery. But this is one biggity big battery, 630 amp hours of power. One of the really, really cool things about Lithionics that I love, and one of the many reasons that this is the system we chose and this is the system we're going to stick with. Well, there's a few reasons, but one of the main reasons is if, for example, 630 amp hours is too much, they also make like a 350 amp hour battery, and all we have to do is unplug it and plug it into the battery management system. And so we can swap out this battery if it breaks, if it's too big, if it's too small, we can swap out for a different size battery. If, say, we needed 1260 amp hours or 2400, 2520 amp hours, no matter what we need, we can also put a splitter on the battery management system, and we can have multiple batteries in our van. So we're really, really flexible, really unlimited in the amount of power that we can keep with us when we use the awesome Lithionics system. This one is a single battery system, but the single battery we chose is the biggest battery that Lithionics sells. Another super, super critical, super important thing, I don't know if you've seen videos on YouTube or something like that, but lithium burns very brightly. I don't know, just like go to YouTube and check out like Tesla fire, right? Once lithium catches on fire, it tends to stay that way. So there is incredible energy stored in this thing, and it is incredibly dangerous if it's not built well, if it's not managed properly, if it's not taken really, really good care of. So UL certified is absolutely necessary, absolutely required for anything that I would plug into my van, anything that I would use to transport my family, or yours for that matter. So That's one of the things I love about Lithionics is that they're UL certified products. They're really, really, really good, really safe, really reliable. So, what else do I love about Lithionics? I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a fan of roller coasters and theme parks and those kinds of things. And I know a lot of people who work in that industry. I know a lot of folks who work down at, say, Disneyland, for example. Lithionics, I'm told, builds the batteries that power the floats in the parades at Disneyland. And nothing would delight me more than the idea that a van I'm building has Disney level stuff in it. I've been a fan of Lithionics long before I found out that they even existed, because I've been a fan of the parades at Main Street Disneyland in Anaheim, California. And so they've been making joy for me long before they sent me this beautiful, beautiful system. So that's kind of the unboxing. That's the look at what the basics of the system are. You're gonna see this all grow into and fold into the van in a beautiful way. We're gonna do CAD drawings, and so that you'll know exactly where everything is, exactly how it all fits together. But that's the deal, man. That's what I love about the awesome Lithionics system. What do you love about lithium-ion battery systems? What do you love about Lithionics? What have you found? What's your experience? This is a relatively new system. There aren't very many of them out there, but I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know how I can do the best possible job building this system into this van. So again, many hands make light work. 100,000 heads are better than one every single time. And so I'd really, really love to know what you're thinking. If you want to keep up with the build and other adventures that we have here on the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it, and it'll be great to see you. You'll get notifications if you click the little notification bell. So we will see you around. Thank you for helping me bring physics, family, and fun to kids everywhere. I'm Will Pemble, and I'll see you soon.